So now is the part of the meeting that everybody is looking for, I know, is our table topic session. So we have our own president tonight in charge of our table topic. Mr. President,
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Welcome, everybody, and hello once again. Today's table topic would be a little different. We would be mixing up real life and project management together, and we will align with the theme, which is looking back 2020 version. The rules are I'm going to read out my question or my topic, and I'll wait for 10 seconds, or let's say 5 seconds. If I don't see a hand, I am going to call out a name. So please volunteer for the names here. And even if you're hiding behind the camera, switching off your camera, that's not going to work. So yeah, please be ready. All right, moving on. The situation here is unforeseen risks and circumstances. Projects do have unforeseen risks, circumstances, and as professional, we need to know how to navigate through them. 1st of Jan or the last or the first week of January 2020, when we all made New Year resolution, we were cruising through our plans. And then all of a sudden 2020 says, hold my beer. Well, when that happened, what did you plan when you begin or when you started the year? And how did you cope throughout all the changes around those unforeseen circumstances? Who would like to go for it? Jessica.
Okay. So how did I deal with the cases when the COVID-19 hits? I did have, I want to share is my vacation plan, and that was greatly impacted by the COVID-19. So at the beginning of the year, um, actually my family vacation plan, my husband went to China to visit during the Chinese New Year to visit his parents, and then the coronavirus break out in Wuhan, in China, and he was in Beijing. So he was online for 5-6 hours, try to reschedule his flight to return back to US. And luckily, he got his ticket before they cease all the flights from China directly to US. Secondly, this year is my daughter's high school graduation, and I was planning to take her to China to visit my parents and also celebrate her graduation. And because of that, I have to cancel the flight and then the vacation plan and all those stuff. And then, so basically, I have to plan something else for her. And she, luckily, we all at home at the time, so we all work around and then try to do something. And then she developed her plans to do during the summer, and then try to do some of her hobbies. And she couldn't go out to work or anything, so we just try to make sure she's entertained and also try to do things she like. And then this year is also our anniversary, but we did make to our trip to Big Bands. I don't know the time now. Let me
Red.
find the timer. Oh, I'm red. But I finally we made it, and we try to stay just by ourselves, and then have the food made all by ourselves. So we were not really impacted by the COVID-19, and we really have a lot of fun. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jessica. That was really wonderful. We got hit by something, you rescheduled your priorities and replanned everything. That's all we need from ourselves, right? Excellent. Next question. Topic is project lesson learned. The key aspect of project planning phase is to collect the lesson learned experience from our previous engagements. We are approaching our last week of December 2020. And right now, many of us are going to plan for 2021. You have learned something in your 2020 experience. What would be the top 3 things that you will consider as part of your planning 2021? It can be anything that you want to plan: vacation, finance, goals. What are the top 3 things that you want to plan for yourself? Who wants to go for it?
Yes, I'm going to volunteer on that one.
Yes, sir.
It's just that definitely 2020 was definitely a year to commemorate. I guess all of us are going to remember this year probably until the very last minute that we are alive. And I learned many things. I learned many things this year. And one of the most important things that I learned was to be adaptable, because we had to constantly change into different situations, to different ways to do business, to different ways to conduct meetings, to different ways to do projects. So it's like every day was a complete different learning experience. So being adaptable, learning new technologies, learning new things, that was kind of the topic of the year, at least for me. And I'm sure that was the same for all of you. And second was to be flexible in the sense that many of our plans that we have to adjust forward and sometimes even backwards. So we have to be flexible and learn to move deadlines, to adjust deadlines, to change goals, to modify expectations, uh, so many things, and that we have to be less rigid and less planned by the book and more planned to whatever we can do with whatever tools we have or whatever manpower we have. And then the other thing was to rely on others, but at the same time be able to accept that sometimes you cannot have your entire team because people get sick, because relatives got sick, because people was having all sort of mental issues or health issues. So even though we are always counting on others to help us, sometimes we have to accept that not everybody was there and we have to pick up the load sometimes at the worst moment of the day, of the week, of the month. So I will say that the thing I learned the most is that we will have to be ready for change and adapt to change and be flexible. That was what I learned from this 2020. Thank you, Mr. Table Topic.
Thank you, Jorge. These are actually one of the things, or important 3 things that should be in our priority. Last question. I know we are running out of time here. So last question. Often we go and buy cars and the salesman will sell us like, this car is this, that, buy it, or something, house, like the positives of it, no downsides of it. If I ask one of you to sell 2020 to me, how will you sell that? Vincent, is that like, you want to go for it? Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Do you still see the thumb?
Yeah,
I see the thumb, yeah.
You'll disappear.
Oh, okay. If I were asked to sell 2020 to anyone in this meeting, I would sell it as a learning experience. We all need to learn from things. And of course, we will never stop making mistakes. So how do we learn from something that has had such a big impact in our lives, that it has affected our families, our country, and our perspective of the future? We learn from it by learning to love failure. If I want to sell you 2020 and I tell you that 2020 is just a little roadblock in the middle of your path to success, you wouldn't care. But if I told you that it is an experience that will make you stronger and make you able to resist bigger, harder obstacles that may come. It'll be a little easier, right? That's not all. Learning to love failure comes with risks. Should we always try to aim for failure? Should we love failure only when we make the big mistakes? Or should we focus on everything and try to assess the risks of every decision we make? I say this: when something happens and it affects not only you in the present, but it affects your future, affects your perspective, and affects your motivation, then yes, take that failure as something big, analyze it, absorb the lesson from it, and move on. You don't have to assess every single decision, but the big ones count. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Vincent. I can do a poll here. How many wants to buy 2020 from that sales pitch? A different poll we will launch later on, but right now, yeah. Well, that was a great table topic session. I'm so happy that you guys gave me an opportunity to be a table topics master, and I'm gonna, before that, Madam Timer, did everybody qualify?
Yes, everyone qualified.
Awesome.
Oh my God.
All right.
Yes, Jessica, barely, but yes.
That was everybody in December during 2020, whatever Jessica said. Oh my God. All right.
All right.
Mr. Ballot Counter, would you like to please launch the polls?